got me sure. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man's wife. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. So I woke up, sun in my eyes, forgot all about what I did last night. What I do remember that it was real, real nice. Talks about me are never good. I don't live like the way that I should. Oh well, I'm in for some fun tonight. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. Hey now, don't be shy. Follow my lead if you wanna be mine. Hey now, just you and I, we could be the next Bonnie and Clyde. Hey now, don't be shy. Follow my lead if you wanna be mine. Oh, it's our time to rise up. Live the life we're proud of. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. Hey now, don't be shy. Follow my lead if you wanna be mine. Hey now, just you and I, we could be the next Bonnie and Clyde. Hey now, don't be shy. Follow my lead if you wanna be mine. Oh, it's our time to rise up. Live the life we're proud of.
Here we go now. 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 Here we go now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Vlog Pastors Podcast. You should know who I am because you're probably finding me on one of my social channels. I am Joshua Verwers. I got my good friend Jared
What's
Brown
happening,
here.
guys?
We are officially the Vlog Pastors. We are coining that. We are taking it. We are staking our claim and planting our flag. Today we've got a special guest. But before we get to him, how about we just roll that beautiful bean footage and you are going to get
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
episode number 4 of the Vlog Pastors Podcast right about now.
Welcome to the Vlog Pastors Podcast, a podcast all about the stories and strategies of sharing God's love in the digital world. Now, here are two pastors that love to put a camera in their face and walk around in public. They are the Abbott and Costello of digital ministry, Jared Brown and Joshua Verwers.
Hats off to the hat flip.
Hats off to the hat flip. That's right. If you guys have no idea what the hat flip is, it's because you're listening to this because it has been 3 months later and I finally got this uploaded into an audio-only platform and you missed the live stream that you can find on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, or on Twitter. We're streaming to all of them as you guys are hopping in. Make sure you let the Abbott and Costello of digital ministry know that you're here. We would love to be able to see you. We do have some people hopping in, but before we even get to your comments, I just want to welcome our guest today. He is the one and the only, the Jason Mayfield. Jason.
Yeah! 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 There he is. There he is.
I love how Jason's just sitting there and he's thinking, hey, maybe if I don't move, they will not even know that I am here.
Blend into your environment.
Like we took
One
a
of the
screen grab and
funniest-
just posted it up.
I've never lobbied so hard to be on a live stream as I have to be on this one. It has been painfully difficult
Yes. Yeah.
to
We
get on a live stream with y'all.
we set the bar really high and you just
yeah.
barely crashed in. No.
Yeah. It's you know, it's tough over
You're-
here.
No, here's how much, for those that don't know what we're talking about, for months now, Jason has been asking to come on these live streams that Jared and I are doing. Even though the official podcast has only been a few weeks, we've been doing these back and forth for months now.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the cleverness of Jason Mayfield. He's in the comments and he bonuses as one of the funniest human beings I've met to date. Now I'm sure as I find out more, that'll be regulated a bit. But dude, to date, he's a hilarious human being.
Yes.
Just in there in the comments, chiding in. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. And
I'm incredibly opinionated. So it's either I'm funny or offensive. It's one of the
Dude,
two.
you say what everybody's thinking. Maybe that's just
I have a
my
friend who
inner
says that. He's
dialogue.
like, you say what I am thinking.
Yep.
And it's almost therapeutic to be in the room with you.
Yep. It is.
Well, and for those that are out there trying to like do a YouTube type ministry, and you're trying to figure out how do I get, more access, how can I do a collaboration with people? Honestly, what Jason is doing is exactly what I did and how I started to get on everybody's radar. I just hopped in their chat. I hopped in the comments. I started bugging them and finding them on any social platform I could. And not bugging as being annoying of just, hey, pick me, but actually adding value. So Jason does a balance of both bugging, hey, pick me, and adding value.
Well, what's important to note here is it's not like we're doing him a solid by having him on to the podcast. Come on.
Yeah,
Dude has like 15 grand subscribers.
I would say the approach is different for me in the other direction a little bit, but
yes, it's usually other people trying to get on your channel.
I actually don't get that very often.
What?
You'd be shocked. Nobody tries to come on and do anything with me or anything.
Do they think it's like this unattainable reach for them to be able to get on your channel?
No, I don't know. I think it's two-sided. I think one side is I don't bring in a lot of people that like are YouTube people into my channel, which is weird because I'll put out real YouTube specific content. Like I'll share what I've got in my studio and my setups, and I've got a series going out right now with all of that stuff. But then I think the other side of it is a lot of people who are in our world, ministry world, church world. I think they're nervous.
That
because you don't know what Jason you're going to get.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
That could be. Dennis Poulette is actually in the chat right now. One of our friends. We do a kind of a cohort with Trey Van Camp. It's the Vlog Your Ministry Value with Video stuff. Dennis is saying it's because we're all too conservative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I keep Trey consistently nervous.
Possibly. I think he's only dangerous if you have something to hide. Like if you play things a little bit closer to the vest, because you're going to call it out. That's what I've
I don't know. I think there's a danger for the predictability of what I believe on a situation too, because I don't fall in with any doctrinal statement. I just, even our own, I'm an Assemblies of God minister. I mean, if I get in the Word and I see something, this guides the practice for me, and it guides the. And I'm not saying that other people aren't in the Word. I'm just saying that if people are in the Word and they 100% agree with their denomination, they either founded it or they're not in the Word.
Right.
And so it's you. There's going to be a level of difference. So even like Trey, behind the scenes, because I know that we are so on different ends of the spectrum. I've called Trey before to warn him he might want to put distance between us. Right. So I've told him I'm about to start teaching something, and you might want some distance. And
right.
Yeah. Hey,
and that was kind of like the early stages of our relationship, Joshua, where it's like we don't really know, and we still haven't had a huge conversation as where we stand theologically.
Yeah, in about 30 seconds, I think I've been a catalyst for more conversation between y'all about doctrinal beliefs.
Yeah, we had 30 seconds to go in the countdown, and it was like
it was getting pretty deep. We were wading off into the deep end of that one.
Like,
which speaks so well of y'all to have relationship and not
not really know where everybody's coming from. Well, and I think it's because the one thing that we can all agree between the three of ourselves, regardless of all the minor doctrinal differences, is we still hold that major doctrinal truth that Jesus is Lord.
Jesus and Satan are brothers, yeah.
That's why, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jason Mayfield. Yep.
What's so good about it is people don't know, was that a joke or was he serious?
It's the beauty of you, man.
And then what's even better is because it's our channel and I'm just going to leave them hanging and they're just going to have to wonder.
So good.
If they really want to know, they can search our channels, which are all linked up in the description below, and then they can vet the totality of what we say.
Dude, your comments are gonna be blown up now. I love this.
I do want to get to some of the comments that we've got. Jason and Melissa Remster saying hello and that they love the intro. We love to see that. Henry, our buddy Henry, saying he has been waiting for this thing. You have been waiting along with Jason Mayfield. I got my son, probably about 45 minutes away from me, saying, hello, I am here, and the internet is being nice. Mike is giving me an elbow bump, saying hi. Mama's in the house. Miguel Fuentes saying, hey, Joshua, good to see you here. And then we have Trey Van Camp saying, I don't know Jason anymore. So he has apparently distanced you quite a bit. Aaron Magnuson, hey, everybody. Hey, good to have you. And then we got Goody. Goody in the house.
So Goody is one of my best friends in the entire world. Okay, let me tell you this. When we met, I wasn't married to Ashley. We were about to get married. We were engaged. We were interviewing at the church that Goody was at. And he comes and picks us up from the airport with his girlfriend, who's now his wife. And all four of us get in the car together. And I'm not a warm, fuzzy guy. So I don't warm up to people fast at all. So it's more like Ashley is more dumbfounded in the back seat going, what in the world? Than Ursula was, his wife now. But we met, and it has been described to the two of us as love at first sight.
Oh, my.
I mean, we were just instantly like, yes, we are friends. It was written in the stars. It is destiny. And it was unreal. And it's been that way for 12 years now.
Yeah.
And it's never anytime. We don't talk all the time, but when we do talk, it immediately right back.
You know, I have to say that is 100% Goody, and it has zero to do with you, Jason. I have met you both in person. And that's not a knock against Jason. Okay, it kind of is, but it's mostly just an elevation of Goody. Matt is just that cool of a guy that as soon as you meet him, it's like, I miss you.
Yeah, no, he has.
I just met you, but I've already missed
personality.
you. Yeah, there's something about him. So
for sure, more on him.
Yep.
Was he in your vlog, Joshua?
Yes.
The one down to okay.
Yep. So yeah, that was Goody. You know, right after I had asked Jason who his best friend was, trying to get him to say his wife, and he decided to say, the Lord Jesus Christ.
I mean, my God, if you want an answer, why don't you preface it with something like, "Hey, I'm about to ask you this question on camera."
No, that's what this whole
that's how you get what you want.
This whole thing is going to be us not prefacing everything and just asking you a question and seeing what's happened, so we can laugh when you say that Satan and Jesus are brothers.
Yes. Thank you.
Jason Remster saying the three amigos are here. Sean Mahawan saying, hey man, and in relation to Trey saying that he doesn't know Jason anymore, he also says that his publicist says that it is cleaner this way.
There we go.
So,
yeah,
there we have it.
True.
Yes. So, hey, if you guys have got J. Cole, good to see you here as well. If you guys have got any questions for the vlog pastors or our guest, our esteemed guest, Jason Mayfield, go ahead, let us know. Drop them down in the chat. We would love to be able to bring them up and get to some of that stuff. As we've kind of mentioned, I know Jason pretty well. We've not only had a lot of online interaction, but we've met in person a couple different times and had...
You've been in my house.
I have been in your house.
You've been in this room.
I have been in that exact room, yes. So we've got this pretty good knowledge of each other. However, Jared, on the other hand, I know Jared pretty well. I know Jason pretty well. Jared and Jason do not know each other pretty well.
We do not know each
Jared
other.
is writing notes over there. Go put distance.
Yes, between us.
Not at all, actually. This is hilarious. I will probably spend the rest of this podcast just laughing, dude.
Well,
I'm serious when I say I find you hilarious.
But let me throw you under the bus, Jared. Because just before we were getting ready to go live, we were supposed to go at like 10 o'clock, and I was late. I didn't have everything set up.
Let me hop on here. Before you even throw me under the bus, I'll throw myself under the bus.
it.
My question was this. So this is the Vlog Pastors podcast. You're not a vlog pastor.
No.
Explain, and not in a bad way, dude. I stinking love you. So what how would you define yourself? Like, my question for Joshua was more pointed. It was like, to be true to your brand, if you're talking about vlog pastors, are you just having him on for the bump in subscribers because he has a bunch and we don't?
Yes.
Or like, what's the deal here?
That's why I'm here.
And that is why I love you. No, man.
Actually, I'm on, so I'll shut up. Is why he brought me on.
No,
He's
you
like,
you have been in ministry. I can tell that much. I don't know much about you, but I can tell you've been in ministry. You have a savvy head on your shoulder as far as financials are concerned and business is concerned, and this whole navigating the digital space. I would call you a guru and I will call you a guru again to your face. So, share with the audience, how did you get here? Like, what's a snippet of your journey?
Yeah, I mean, some background. I mean, I was in pastoral ministry for over 10 years. And we had a situation in our last church. We were not our last church, actually. It was the second to last. But we were trying to transition to do senior pastor ministry. Now, in my brain, I was always heading towards some form of broadcast ministry. So when we were looking at churches to go senior pastor, I'm touring the buildings, going, can I create an environment here that works well for broadcast?
Oh, cool.
So I mean, I'm ripping seats out and, putting cameras in my brain. So I was already there in my mindset. That was in 2014. And just to be frank, and to absolve myself from whatever people might put in their brain about the situation, the pastor was having an affair behind the scenes of the church we were trying to transition out of. And we knew about it. We were basically running that church between me and my wife. I mean, I wasn't on paper, but I was essentially the executive pastor. I was the highest paid person there. I mean, and he showed up and preached on the weekends, which just so happened to be the only thing I wanted to do. So it would have been, we could have traded positions. I'd have stayed. But he was having an affair. We found out. We knew about it. We had we had proof. But the reason we didn't deal with that publicly is I didn't know that proof would hold up if we brought it out. And he knew that we knew. And so he put us in a position where if we were to bring it up, basically it looked like we were trying to take over his church. Ooh. Which was not the situation because we didn't want to be there. We didn't like the area anyway. We had actually already decided we wanted to move to Florida. And so when that all went down, my speaking opportunities, preaching opportunities, I mean, we're talking teaching classes at the church. All of it went down. As a matter of fact, I was the minister of music there, and I was basically told, well, really in no uncertain terms, don't talk between the worship and the transition to the next point in the service. And so we started assigning people to come up and do that. So it was basically a full mute on me. And I think the last time I spoke in any length was the day they let me go publicly in front of the church, but they were dangling a severance package that we had to rely on. I mean, the year before we'd had a child at 24 weeks, so I mean, I had to do what I had to do,
Well, quick question. Did it ever come out?
Yeah, about a year later. What's really weird, it was kind of serendipitous the day that it happened because it was I was preaching at a church that I'd gone to for the paycheck, by the way. I want to be clear. I'd gone to this church because I needed a paycheck. I didn't even want to do the job, and I hated it there, as a matter of fact. But we couldn't go senior pastor because everything had gone nuts around us over this whole situation. I mean, it was bad. I was told by a district official in our denomination, go and rebuild your reputation somewhere else. And I'm thinking, my God, that's what you would say if I was having the affair.
Right.
I'm just chilling over here.
Yeah.
And, so I was preaching and I come off the stage. I don't know if you've ever had one of them days where something happened and you could take your phone and flick and notifications just go like a slot machine. Yeah. And I basically, the Sunday I was preaching that week, they'd been dealing with it. And the superintendent was there saying, hey, this happened, XYZ. In case you're wondering, no, I haven't gotten any apologies, any phone calls.
I'm
Nobody
shocked.
said anything to me.
Totally
Yes, right.
shocked.
But so all of that to say, in that process, now, by the way, they know that I knew because I called up a board member and I said, hey, what's going on? And they said, well, by law, we can't disclose anything to you. I said, cool, let me tell you what happened. And I went, and he went, how do you know all of that? I said, what do you think went down?
Yeah.
And so all that to say, when I started getting muted, I said, I actually texted a friend of mine and I said, would it be inappropriate or would I come off poorly if I just started going on YouTube and teaching the Bible? And he said, no, not at all. And so I started preparing to do that. And then when everything shut down, you know, we basically converted every weekend.
What year was that?
That was 2014.
So in 2014, that's non-threatening. It's YouTube. It's do your little thing. Is that kind of what it was? Or did you realize that YouTube
well, no,
was a
I didn't realize
birthday?
YouTube was it. I thought I was preparing myself, talking on camera to a timer to go do broadcast ministry.
Gotcha. Okay.
But look, it didn't take long to realize, you know, Netflix and Hulu and all of this is present, and there is no place for that in those arenas for Christian broadcasts because they haven't opened it up. And the ones that can do it aren't doing it. And then I had a conversation with a guy that kind of shifted me. I have a friend who I have a good friend who has another friend who I'm an acquaintance of, who a Christian television broadcast guy who's big TV evangelist put this guy on television as a favor. But this guy's on TV. He's on a bad channel with a bad show, with bad equipment and a bad production. And it cost him $25,000 a month just to be on television. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, in every sense, I do a better everything than this guy. I think he's probably more profound in his teaching than I am, but you got to weed through a lot of garbage to get to that profound teaching. I started going, man, if I had $25,000 a month, and here's a question, you know, if you had $25,000 a month, you could throw at online ads.
Oh man.
What would that do for your broadcast influence?
Right.
Insane.
And so really that's the model and the number now in my heart is how do we get the fundraising to the point, which I haven't done much fundraising. It's hard for me to do fundraising because we have so much money. So it always feels weird, you know?
Yeah.
But I got to do it because I mean there's just stuff that I just can't fund personally forever. But
well, and let me interject right here real quick, Jason, because it's not only about you've got the money to be able to fund it, but there's something else about being able to partner up with what you're trying to do as well. And we've seen that with a lot of the TV style ministries that are out there. They're asking for ministry partners is really what it is, and it goes back to that principle of how can they preach unless they're sent. And sometimes that sending, it's like, okay, you may have the funds to go ahead and send yourself, but how much farther could you go if there were other people supporting and backing it and being able to do that as well?
Well, and when it comes to giving and stuff, I mean, I want to give people an opportunity. There's a lot of like television preachers and stuff where it's like, send in 67 and get us, your miracle debt relief today.
Right.
Which, first of all, I'll let you know, outside of salvation, I don't believe in miracle debt relief.
Yeah.
Because I believe the Lord wants you to walk through that process so you understand finances. Having gone through that process, I get it. We paid off nearly $64,000 in 6 months. So it's a process you want to understand. I believe the Lord wants you to understand. So I'm against that in general.
Yep.
But I do believe that when you sow a seed financially, it may not activate you into a breakthrough, but I do believe that it will activate you into the power of a revelation. So when you sow a seed, it gives an opportunity for the revelation that someone else has been given to take root in your heart and in your brain and your spirit. And when that revelation comes to fruition, then you do live in the overflow of that, which would be the breakthrough.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
does
if you
that
wanna send in
answer?
6767
So yeah, you can make your checks out to
for the
Jason
next 67 weeks in Jesus' name.
At jasonmayfield.com/give.
But you're right. I am not a pastor, but I would consider. First of all, I do have a lot of pastoral backbone. So let me say that
Yeah.
I got a lot of guys still call me for pastoral issues. I was doing a consulting, counseling, coaching, whatever you want to call it, session yesterday with a guy. What it's given me is a very objective view because I'm not in the grind. So I got really loud about digital ministry when COVID-19 hit because I was able to be objective. Because my finances aren't affected, my weekends aren't affected, my programs aren't affected, my salaries aren't affected.
Right.
So I can just say, this is what you got to do. Because I am objective from that standpoint. And I feel for you guys who are walking through that right now. I have said to friends, I'm glad I'm not pastoring right now.
Yeah, and
I mean, I would not want to do it.
when we're talking about COVID-19 and the response and how much you've done to really kind of help pastors out there, ministry leaders, you did it not only from an objective standpoint, but you also were able to sit there and do it from a knowledge-based standpoint where it's you
Yeah, we've
came
been
with
doing it. Yeah.
proactive information, not reactive information.
Yeah.
And a lot of people out there putting out the information, I appreciate they're doing it, but it's a reactionary response because it's like, oh, now this is happening and here's how we're reacting to it, where you're sitting there and saying, no, we thought this, we had the plan, we wrote it down, we made the way, and we've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah, hey, I've been on the internet, I mean,
Yeah,
so
right.
that's, but if I was to give myself, like, if you needed a description of what I do, I'm probably the closest thing to it. I'm probably a televangelist, just without the tele.
Right. Which
No, that actually helped put you in a box the other day, and I know we don't like to be put in boxes, but it helps for categorizing things.
Be
But
out
no,
of the box for 5 or 6 years, and then you'll go, you know what, I'd like a box so I could do a
box.
30-second, this is what I do. I mean, you just asked a
Well,
question
it's-
that took me 25 minutes to answer.
Hey, I'm known for those. I'm loving your perspective though. That third party, that kind of outside perspective, but not really outside, of what to do. And that's part of what I stayed after in a group. We're part of the same group together, and Value with Video, and you answered some really significant questions that were timely for a pastor dealing with some of these issues. How do you navigate the online side? How do you those types of things? And you are, dude, a guru in that field. So thank you.
Thanks
For coming on, dude.
When I have the benefit of also, having people like Josh in my world, Trey Van Camp, who I think the three of us have a proficiency, but we also come at everything from a different place. So that helps as well, because you can bounce ideas. I mean, I'm talking the other day, I'm on the phone with Josh for an hour or 2 hours talking about, my next strategy.
Yep.
And, and getting his kind of take on stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's been invaluable. I don't know if some of you guys who are watching are privy to some of this, or if you have friends who are in the YouTube space or whatever, but they are absolutely invaluable. I call Josh, I mean, outside of YouTube stuff, pretty much if I'm going through something or if I'm thinking through something, hey, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Just to call him up. And Josh, you've been invaluable, man, to say that's a terrible idea. Or collect your thoughts. I don't know how many times he said, collect your thoughts and maybe try one of those, because I'm a bit scattered in the way that I think. And so he says, hey, double down on this. Basically, it was the last series that I did. You said double down on that, man.
Yep. Yeah, and it's having those fresh perspectives is unique, which, when we were talking beforehand, Jared, about, why are we bringing in a non-pastor to the Vlog Pastors podcast? And if you don't know Jason, he runs with the hashtag Not Your Pastor.
Yeah, I mean, I own it pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's like, just do a search out there, hashtag Not Your Pastor, and you're going to find lots of Jason
I actually don't come up.
stuff.
It's weird. I tried one day. I'm like, not there.
Search in your, if you're on like Facebook, type in like the GIF keyboard, Not Your Pastor, all
Do I
one
show
word,
up?
and
Are you
Jason will
serious?
show up.
Nice.
I may or may not have had something to do with that.
Well, that was the fresh
Actually,
perspective.
that might have been Dennis, I think, actually, that did the Not Your Pastor. I don't know. I've done it on a few different platforms, but
GIF me as much as possible.
it's
Dude,
not
that was-
GIF, it's GIF.
That's
either.
the fresh perspective, Jason, that you were given, because particularly in that group, we're a group of pastors for the most part, thinking about it inside the confines of we have a physical church that folks need to be, ministered to through, and we're thinking from that mindset. And you're talking about concepts and streams of revenue and just things that, since you've been in this space, your mind is already wrapped around. That just gave fresh wind.
Yeah.
So, dude, yeah.
ROI is a a phrase more pastors should use and think about.
Right.
And I was having a conversation yesterday. I'm like, what would the ROI on something like that be? And the pastor's going, I don't think there'd be any.
Well, but here's one of those things.
Think about that.
There are ministry leaders out there that they don't even know what the term ROI means, which if you don't know what ROI means, it is return on investment.
Investigation. Yes.
No, but that return on your investment, what you're putting in, and it's really just a way of measuring is what I'm getting out, what I'm hoping for what I've put in. And it's like you only get out what you put in. We've heard those things before, and that's really that return on investment aspect of it. Are you making the impact that you believe God is wanting you to make? Is it really being fruitful for you? Which is, it goes to that what Jared, you and I have talked about. It's like, hey, just double down on this thing. And that's one of those things. Let me ask you that, Jared or Jason, because it kind of comes up with this question. Youth Video Quest says 14,000 viewers. How long have you been on YouTube? And here, I'm going to add one to this. Not only how long have you been on YouTube, where have you found the biggest impact coming from your YouTube videos? And is that the return you were hoping to get on the investment you've put in?
I'll say a lot of it's just happened, And I'll also say this. Let me also be clear. I've got my counter over here doesn't give me a specific number, but I've got 14,100 subscribers is what my counter says. Just to give a perspective here, that is a very small YouTube channel. Now, if you've got 173 subscribers, you go, my God, 14,000 subscribers.
Right.
But it's not in the really in the vastness of the space. It's a very small channel. So you're asking what have I done where there's been return on investment?
Yeah. So with a lot of people, especially getting into YouTube space, they'll sit there and say, how long have you been doing it? And what did you do to get there type of a deal? So one, how long have you been on YouTube?
So I've been on since 14. I've actually been on longer because I dinked around and did other odds and ends, but I was on, from 14 till now. But it was 2018 that I really came back in, because when I had started the channel, I was doing stuff. I'd done some complete teaching series out of the apartment in Michigan when we were going through all of that craziness. But when I moved down, between the church that I was at, where I was incredibly miserable. I cannot, I've looked at therapists in the face and gone, I'm a tough nut to crack. And, from that, changing positions to where we were self-employed. I'd been a pastor since I was 18 years old, and when you're doing something from that age, the amount of identity that gets wrapped up into that is, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so to step away, so I'm kind of like trying to navigate this new world. And in 2018, or right before 2018, I think at the end of 2017, I had a friend and a mentor of mine. He said, you need to stop dinking around. You need to get serious about what you're doing on the internet. And so
what was that you when you really got serious, what were you doing? What gave you that really started to launch you out that you focused in on?
Well, I think for that, it was a decision, just to do it. But when I started back, I was just doing my teaching videos. Mm-hmm. And so I really batched out 10 teaching videos, picked up in the middle of a series that I'd kind of let dangle there for a couple of years in Romans, which a long epistle like that's easy to get, in the middle of it and let it dangle because it's so long.
Right.
Then one day I was like, man, I just need to produce a video now. I need to do a video now. I looked around. I thought, what is an issue I'm always dealing with? And I've constantly been on this for years. Do I use the NASB or the ESV? And I've always landed on the ESV, even though I like the NASB better as a translation. So why in the world? And I thought, okay, I'm going to jot down some notes. I literally took a yellow pad and I jot down some notes, and I went over, turned the camera on. I don't even look good in the video. The video is very off the cuff. You know, it's not even as fun as what people have kind of come to know as a Jason Mayfield video. And so I just did this video, and it almost overnight started to get more traction than any other video that I had done. And so what I realize is that people have online, there are more questions that need to be answered. Yeah. So how do you do something that's a question that someone wants to have answered, and what's an area of expertise you can bring to it? And that's kind of what I've done. So, I mean, I'm just consistently in the Bible, on the search for the one Bible that I'll be in for the rest of my life, you know, which is
still looking
harder and harder. But by just talking about Bibles that I was using and things I was trying, and I was watching videos, you know, and I mean this with all due respect to any of the guys who happen to watch this stuff. I love y'all. But I would watch other Bible reviewers, and they are the worst videos ever. They are terrible production, terrible personalities. And so I get in here with a 2-angle view and like this really, I mean, I don't have the biggest personality in the world, but compared to a Presbyterian or a Baptist Bible reviewer, I mean, that guy's pretty easy to figure out what the personality is going to be like.
Did you just say you don't have the biggest personality?
Yes, he did.
Not compared to everybody in the world. Okay?
Yes, he did.
But you get me up against these guys, and I'm like, you know, a firecracker,
right,
going off. And so it's I have this real standout deal. And I mean, I didn't want to be a Bible reviewer, and I don't consider myself one. And you know, Josh, I had really said I'm not doing that anymore. You know, I'm not going to do Bible reviews and stuff. There's a lot of behaviors around it that I think are negative and unproductive. But then I did that this year. I did what's become my biggest video, and that was the Tear Up Your Bible reading plan, which if anybody wants to start a Bible reading plan, you can visit tearupyourbible.com. Get started with that. I think it's the best reading plan on the internet. The only one better than this one's the one that I've already got up here that's coming out for 2021. And that being said, I did that. I put it out, and it blew up. And we just had tens of thousands of people who've started the plan. And I decided, let me start doing some more Bible stuff to help people interface with the Scripture. Because I do think finding a Bible you like, having a pen you like, but honestly, I don't respond to a lot of comments I get on those videos. Yeah. Because I can't do it. You know, tearupyourbible.com.
There you go.
Hey, I'd like to ask you something, Jason, along those lines. The second part of that question is, you know, you said some people are at 178 subscribers, some people are at 15,000, some people are at 170,000. Was the return on investment worth it? Like, do you consider what effort you put into these videos? Do you consider it worth the time?
Well, I think I put in less effort than a lot of people, to be honest with you. I mean, I kind of like get a system and just roll with it. My videos aren't great. And honestly, you know, something that helped me with that was I kind of got a revelation last year. And it just alleviated a lot of stuff off of me. And that revelation was that I don't make films. I make videos. Yep. And if you can get comfortable making videos and not making films, then you can produce a lot more stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that's okay on video that's not okay on film.
Unpack that just a little bit more for those that don't understand the difference between, at least in your definition, the difference between film and video.
Well, I'm not making an artistic piece of work. So I'm not going in and doing excessive color grading and excessive planning and filming myself reading the Bible from 75 different angles, you know, so it looks like I'm having this intense moment. You know, I'm going to just turn the camera on, do the thing that I'm going to do. That's not to say that I wouldn't do B-roll or something, but again, it's not going to be this super artistic B-roll. It's going to be something practical and easy to execute. So
what you're saying is you don't do like B-roll like I would do, where I'm just trying to drink a cup of coffee, but it took me 30 minutes to record
30 minutes.
that one cup of coffee.
I try to avoid it. There are moments I do it.
Yeah.
If I have the idea and I really want the idea to go off, then I'll do it. But I also, I just try to be comfortable with, sometimes you realize to get a sequence, you just need angles. You don't need perfection. And, you just move stuff around and you do it. So,
yeah. Hey, I want to jump in and bring up a couple more comments that we had in here that I saw that I think were powerful. And also a couple questions. So J. Cole was saying that social media is more targeted than broadcast when we were talking about the difference between broadcast communications and social media, which...
It can be.
Yes, you can be broad, you can be very specific, especially if you're going with ads.
Social media is targeted when you throw money at it.
Correct.
Now, to say that social media by itself is more targeted than broadcast would be a misconception.
Yes, social media in the broad sense. So certain social media platforms
if you throw the same money at broadcast as you do at social media, if you do the same thing, you can put your show in front of the people you want to watch it.
Right.
Versus, broadcast is still based on discovery.
Yeah. Although
which is clicking.
YouTube, if you will put in a little bit of effort, and at least if you as the creator are targeted in your content you're trying to produce, YouTube's algorithm is very smart, and it will identify that and send it to the right people if you stay on point. If you get very sporadic with it like me, well, good luck. Have fun and do the hard work. Evan Briscoe saying, love this setup, guys. More importantly, there is still enough room for the floating coffee hand. You guys missed it. You were talking and the floating coffee hand made its appearance. It'll probably show back up here.
Oh, man.
Come back.
I'm guessing
Floating
probably in
coffee.
about 2 minutes I'll have another floating coffee hand coming in here.
Thank you, Jesus.
Here was it. Clint Zeller, we know Clint. Clint's saying that Jason's videos have caused him to spend more money than he would like to admit.
So listen, I told you I'm onboarding a video editor right now. And he sends me a picture yesterday of all of these Bible supplies he's bought since he started editing my videos.
Nice. Nice. Hey, Pastor Orlando Virgil Jr., my wife is mad at Jason because he is the reason for my premium Bible collection. Laugh out loud. You're having an impact. You're hurting people. Although, to be fair, my Schuyler Bible is due to Jason Mayfield, even though that was
really?
gifted to me. Yes, it was. Because I was looking for a premium Bible, something that I could have, something that I could pass down, if the Lord tarries and it remains. Well, that was what I was looking for, and I love the New King James Version. It's what I grew up on. It's what I was going to stick with, and it's limited finding a premium Bible with that. So when I started, I saw you had a video on a Schuyler, and I was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. I mean, I had started to look into it before, so I knew about it, but when I saw your video, then all of a sudden it was like, well, I guess now I have to go spend a couple $100 on a Schuyler Bible.
They're great Bibles.
Yeah, it was.
Which you're guilty by association on this one. Since you did that to him, I have my old beater Bible. I'm perfectly fine with it until we went to grow with video in Las Vegas, and I was like, what is that?
So do you have one now?
Jason Mayfield. No, of course not. I'm saving up my pesos. That thing is expensive. We don't all flow in the financial wisdom that you do.
Here's the funny thing, though, okay? So, I do have all this money now, okay? But I remember when I bought my Cambridge wide margin, which was, probably 2012, and we didn't have money at all. And it was, it's like a $300 Bible. Yeah. I remember getting that, and it was like a major thing.
Well, see, I didn't even know I'm a pastor, and I didn't even know that these resources were available. I didn't know you could buy $200 and $300 Bibles.
Yeah.
They were all $15 because that's what we all got ours.
Here's the thing. Now I've got all this money, and the vast majority of the Bibles that I have
You don't buy.
are sent to me for free.
Right.
You know, so
I
I
just-
can review them.
Right.
I thought it was hilarious that I was coveting another pastor's Bible. I was like, wait a minute. Well played, Jason Mayfield.
Well,
You get the credit for that one.
But you have to admit, when you hold premium goat skin leather in your hand and you smell it,
Do you want an exclusive Bible prediction?
sure.
Let's have it.
Give us
Which
the
sounds
Bible
like
prediction.
prophecy, but it's not.
We are ready for the prophetic Bible.
I think that, and I've actually shared this with some publishers, I think premium Bibles are going to phase out in the next 18 months and not be as big of a deal anymore. And I think natural leather Bibles are going to be a humongous deal. I've been using this year. So all of you that have premium Bibles, I'm not using one. But
Okay, so I just corrected my son. He said this comment: love him or hate him, Jason Mayfield is here to make you go broke. I told him it's funny, it's not quite accurate, and then you say natural leather Bibles, which is going to get people to start buying natural leather Bibles. Logan, I think your prediction is just as accurate as Jason's.
well, I can make you more money than you'll spend, but
This is
but the
true, too.
natural
Yeah.
now the natural leather is much cheaper. These are much cheaper to make, much cheaper to buy. But I think people are going to start going for something that doesn't. The premium Bibles are great, but it can also create a resistance to, you know, really getting in and engaging and interfacing with the Word and writing and tearing up your Bible, because you start going, my God, why don't I want to tear up a $300 Bible?
Right.
You know? So,
Yep.
tearupyourbible.com.
Oh, okay. So, hey, a couple more questions, comments in here. My mama saying, do I hear that? You don't need perfection. Yes, I hear that. I understand that perfection is the enemy of progress. And that
But I
done is
struggle
better
with
than
that
perfect.
majorly. I want to be clear. I'm not over here saying don't do. My wife the other day said, you have got to stop trying to improve stuff.
Well, I would disagree with her. I think we should always be trying to improve. But
Unless
I think we need
unless
to.
you're
Go ahead.
here's what perfection does, okay? Quality improves what you're producing. Perfection improves what you've produced in theory. So perfection will make better the thing that you never got out there. Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hyped up now. So if you deal, and that's not to say that you deal with perfectionism, because we're dealing with words and semantics.
Right.
But if you deal with perfectionism, what can happen is you can be improving something that you've never produced.
Correct.
But progress says I'm going to increase that quality
Yes.
of something that's already happening. And that's why sometimes you just got to go, I'm just
Yep.
going to do it. Because right now I don't want to film any videos. We're talking about wanting to buy a pole barn and turn it into a YouTube studio before we got started today.
Fantastic idea.
Great idea. But right now, the truth is, in my soul, I do not want to film any YouTube videos until I have a pole barn. That's the perfectionism that you have to fight.
Okay, so that's what I'm fighting too, because I had like 2 weeks where I didn't record anything other than just live streams because I've got a new setup and I wanted to make sure it was up and ready to go before I did it.
Yeah.
So apparently I need to listen to that, and I need to listen to my mama, which I think we all kind of knew we should listen to our mamas. Let's see. Some of the others that were on here, Youth Video Quest saying there's a big difference between the different types of content creation. Absolutely. I think I heard that just because of we were talking about the difference between video and film. Clint saying that, here's a question. Is it beneficial to make multiple channels that are more focused on one topic each, or should you still be with one channel with multiple focuses? Let's do this question this way. Each of us give a response, and I've got floating coffee hand coming in, so I'll go ahead and start the response. So you
Here
ready?
it comes.
Here is.
Show us.
Here
Prove
is-
it.
It's coming in just a second.
Oh,
So
that was such a letdown.
It's here. It is here. So Clint's question. Okay.
yes, thank you. Yes, Jesus.
Is it beneficial
Hot,
to make
yes.
multiple channels that are more focused on one topic each, or should you still make it with one channel, multiple focuses? I'm going to say, in my personal opinion, it depends on what is the outcome that you want. If you want rapid, fast growth and you're trying to be known on as this, then yes, each channel needs to have its own focus. That's going to be the fastest way to really grow. If you really want your channel to be more personality driven and you don't care about rapid growth, I say compile it all on one, and I will use the two unicorn of huge growths out there, kind of like Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, that their channels are all over the place with all different types of content, but they are personality driven channels rather than it being a focus on a certain specific niche, if you will. That's my thoughts and opinions on it. Jared, you're up next. What do you think?
Man, you stole my answer, but I guess to change it, I would say it just depends. If you want to taking it out of growth, let's just eliminate growth. Make it. Here's my deal. Let's cut the baloney. Here's my recommendation. Be you. It's YouTube. I say you make your channel Jason Mayfield. You make your channel Jared Brown, you make your channel Joshua Verwers, and you make whatever you want to make. If you are shopping for potential viewers and you want to grow and do something like that, then sure, tailor individual channels for specific purposes and be ready to work. I don't know. I think if you're making it for yourself, make it a YouTube channel about you. If you're making it for the purpose of reaching other people for a specific purpose, then maybe carve it off and have a separate YouTube channel. That's my 2 cents.
And Jason, what say you?
I think the most important thing to answer the question with an answer that doesn't answer that question. The most important thing is momentum. What do you do that generates momentum? And if that is doing everything on one channel, then do that. And if not, then do something else. And then you also just have to leverage in the common sense. And the common sense is that if your whole channel is about baking cupcakes and different kind of cupcakes, and we making these cupcakes today, and tomorrow we're making these cupcakes, and next week we're going to make these cupcakes, and cupcakes, and the name of the channel is Cupcakes Emporium, and then you do a video showing someone how to change out their transmission, that the common sense on that goes, that doesn't work.
True.
So, but I would, I go where the momentum is. And so there are a lot of things that I do that I use to pull towards the things that I want. So if it was my world, like my channel, I'd be Bible teaching all the time. And I get hundreds, thousands of views on just the Bible teaching. What I found is that doesn't happen. But when I do other videos, they typically uptick my Bible teaching videos as well. So it has a positive impact where I want it. So go to the momentum is what I say.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I like that added clarification of if you started carving out this type of a niche, then yeah, stick with it. And I think
if you 175 videos deep on how to knit, and then you do a video on laying concrete, it just don't make any sense.
Yeah, and I know I often tell people, it's that Simon Sinek book, Start With Why. So figure out your why. It also goes with, what is it, Habakkuk 2:4 or 2:2, write the vision, make it plain so those that read it can run with it. And so it's like, figure out what are you trying to accomplish first and foremost. So like for me and my channel, you guys have seen this. I'm all over the place. We do a podcast where I'm just having conversations. I've got daily vlogs that sometimes no rhyme or reason to them. I've got tech reviews and tutorials. I've got reading the Bible things. All of that stuff looks completely disjointed unless you understand that my why behind the whole channel is I want to encourage you to live by faith and share your faith online. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, now I see where all of that makes sense. But yeah, if I wasn't, and that would be something like you, Jason, I guess if you were starting out and your channel was all, like Bible review type stuff, and then all of a sudden you went straight into, doing a video that's a reaction on the newest Power Ranger movie, it might be a little off topic. It would be enjoyable, but it would be a little off topic.
And it does help. It does help though when it's your channel,
right?
Because then it kind of all
yeah.
is like there's the Jason Mayfield-y kind of stuff.
Yep, for sure.
And so, and actually, I did have a video where I got one of the Power Ranger helmets that are back here, and you can't see it on the stream, but I have some Power Ranger helmets. But
that's why I mentioned that exact thing.
Yeah.
There
And
it is. They can see
there
them.
it is. See,
Power
you see
Rangers.
some of the Power Ranger helmets over there. But I took that video down because even though I do stuff that's not all Bible teaching, so I'll do a YouTube video or a finance video or stuff like that, that was way outside of the realm of on brand.
Yeah. And you caught that really quick. It wasn't up very long. I mean, I loved it.
No, it was up. It was up. It just didn't. It wasn't getting constant traction.
Yeah.
But I would get occasional comments that would bring it back to my attention that this video's showing up in searches. People are seeing it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep, for sure. So that was a nice door. Dennis Poulette saying, little known fact, I actually started interacting with Jason Mayfield because of a premium Bible group on Facebook. That is an interesting little known fact.
Also one I did not know.
And I have no idea how Jason and I started interacting at all. I couldn't tell you.
There's a group on Facebook that we're both in, and I was asking something about Christian content creators.
Ooh, okay.
And then you put me in a Christian content creator group that I later got out of.
Yes.
Coincidentally, because of you.
Because of you. Yes. It all comes full circle. Yes, absolutely. Youth Video Quest saying, what is Grow with Video? Grow with Video is a live video conference out in Las Vegas that is put on by Sean Cannell and the Think Media team. So check that out. It was amazing. Jared and I went out there this last year. Of course, we're waiting to see what happens with all the COVID stuff before we make any decisions this year. But I know there are several that have been out there and done that stuff. Even our good friend Henry, we met him out there, and he says, a question,
Henry.
Will there ever be a time when we will not have physical Bibles, will be soon to have only digital Bibles?
No. No, I don't think. I mean, not in our lifetime.
Yeah, no. I'm with you.
But
No.
yeah, because there's something. One, I mean, people still like books.
Yeah.
You know, have e-readers made a big impact? Yes, but people still like books.
You're still going to have those people. Generations removed, I think there could come a time, but yeah, like you're saying, in our lifetime, no, I don't think the next couple generations, barring, I don't know, some world catastrophe that doesn't allow us to print any paper or paper-like substance.
Yeah, but at that point, you still have so many Bibles printed.
Right.
That, but the Bible as a book, just from the perspective of it being a piece of literature, is too big and too vast to remove it from a tactile interaction, because you can't navigate it well enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of even memorizing and remembering things. Just the outline of a page helps a ton. I really love single column Bibles, but you'd be shocked how much a double column Bible plays into your ability to remember and recall.
Now, is that based off of your background, your upbringing, because you grew up with it?
No,
So
it's because a double column Bible, every page is unique in its layout. In a single column Bible, every page is exceptionally uniform. And so because of I think you call them, I haven't said the word in a while, pericopes, I think is what it is. That's what each section of your
That was
Bible
like
is
a
under a
food
heading.
or something. Or no, that's
Maybe it is.
pierogi.
Yeah, each pierogi.
Yeah, that's
But
accurate.
Each section of your Bible like that creates a unique puzzle on every page, and then your notes add to that unique puzzle,
Yep.
And so a lot of times when you recall scripture, you're going to, rather than thinking, unless you force fed the memory, rather than thinking 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 11, you're going to think 1 Corinthians towards the end, bottom right of the page on the left.
Right.
And so it creates a unique navigational system. You know you're going to get schooled.
Interesting.
Yeah, and actually there's a
I don't
–
know that I believe you, but it's interesting.
okay, so
I'm telling
look
you, I mean,
this up. Here's what I want you to look up, Jared. Look up, it is Professor Horner's Bible Reading System.
Okay.
And if you look that up, he's actually talking exactly what Jason has. It was when I read it that all of a sudden it dawned on me, yeah, that works. Because I'll sit there, I don't know how many times, and I haven't got this new Bible down, but my old one that I had used for over a decade,
All here.
people would sit there
Again,
and they
hold
would
on.
say, where
That
is...
right there. Is it because we grew up with these? Like this, there was not. What is Logan? How does Logan memorize his scripture?
But that transition for him isn't because he grew up on that Bible. It's just because he has mapped that other Bible.
It's the brain mapping thing in
And
that.
now when you have to map something new, that's why the Cambridge Wide Margin, one of the brilliant things that they've done other than making the other Bible awful. But the Pit Minion to the Cambridge Wide Margin and the Pit Minion have the same layout.
Yeah.
So Cambridge Wide Margin, hard to travel with. Pit Minion, you can throw in your pocket. When you pull that Pit Minion out, bam, 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 you're on the same page in the same place. It's because you're going to map a Bible.
Yep. And I can sit there, at least from personal experience, and this is not really evidence. I've got single columns, I've got double columns, I've got double columns with center reference and double columns with bottom reference. The single columns, I can't tell you anywhere in my single column. When I'm trying to recall a scripture, I can't see in my mind a single column ever. And I use it weekly. I mean, like every time I'm studying, one of my single column study Bibles I use all the time. But I don't have that in there. With these, like I did even with this, there's one or two verses that I've used enough in this that I start to get some of that stuff where it's like, okay, I know it's in the back third of the Bible. It's on the left page, left column, top third. And then I can start flipping through and then it's like, oh, there it is. I couldn't remember what the book, chapter, verse reference was.
I mean, it's like I'm reading a book right now. It's got some good, profound stuff in it, highlighting a ton of stuff. I can't see any of the pages in my mind, but I can see, your Bible page because of it's the layout.
No, that makes sense because I use Logos for just reading now. I mean, it's a good study software, but if I want to study and remember the words on the page, then I have to go back to my my original Bible, like what you're talking about, the double layout.
And I used to use Logos as my daily driver, to do all of my reading and stuff in. I'm a big fan of Logos. I have a great relationship with them, but the page changes.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look something up.
Yeah.
And so you don't get that navigational feel.
Couple more comments here. Pastor of Orlando, my Schuyler Bible has been written on more times than I would like to admit. And it makes people cringe.
Let them cringe.
Let them cringe. It's your Bible, dude. Do it. I can understand both sides of it because I had this thing and it took months before I actually did that.
I bet if you sat down with everybody who cringes, you could recall more scripture offhand than they could. So cringe away.
Right. Yep. Okay, here's a good question from Carlos.
That's what Jared's been waiting for. Now he's getting frisky.
I'm ready.
Yeah. We'll
unleash Jason Mayfield.
We'll get to some more here in a second. I want to get this question out here. There's two in the comments I want to get. Carlos is saying, are we striving for excellence or are we striving for perfection? Which Henry says it's a great question. And I would say semantics. It depends on how you define it. I come from the place that I believe we should be striving for perfection. Because I think we need to realize here on this earth, we're never going to attain it. There was only one perfect one, but I think we are to be called to be like him. So we should be striving to be like him, striving to be perfect. Just understanding it's not going to happen. And that's where I think we mess up. If we think I can actually be perfect, I don't know. What say you guys?
Well, I think what you just said, perfection, does carry an air of the unattainable. And so I think perfection can be a stifling, and again, it is more semantics than anything, but perfection can be a stifling word. It can be a stifling journey. I think excellence is at least something you can obtain. And the question is when you are achieving excellence, is it on the same road that you would travel to get to perfection? If it's on a different road.
Yeah, say that one more time.
If you go for excellence, what you achieve, if you're achieving excellence, if you hit the excellence mark, is that on the same road that you would have traveled in order to achieve perfection?
Right.
Because if it's not, then it's not excellence. It's actually, delusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that excellence looks like a lesser version of perfection, not a lesser version of failure, or not a greater version of failure.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was just when I hear perfected perfection, one of the first one that comes up to me, and you guys know it, Philippians 3:12. Not that I have already attained it or am already perfected, but I press on that I may lay hold of that which Christ Jesus has also laid hold for me. And it's like, that's the thing for me. I haven't achieved perfection yet, but I'm pressing on. I'm continuing down that path.
And I think for someone who's not, aggressively trying to do better and pursue things in a spirit of excellence, I think that Philippians verse is the verse.
Yeah.
But I think people who struggle with a spirit of perfection and they feel like everything they've got to do is perfect and it stops them from executing, they've got the paralysis of the analysis because they just can't get it locked down, and I got to get it better. I got to get it better before I put it out there. I think those people need to hear Hebrews 10:14. For he is perfected for all time those who are being sanctified.
Nice.
And so, you know what? You don't have to get it all right, because through Jesus, it's already been gotten all right. Guess what? When I put out my videos, some people are going to find faults in them. Sometimes the references are going to be wrong. Sometimes there's going to be a misspelled word. Sometimes the angle is going to be cut a little weird. Sometimes it's not going to be as good as this, that, and the other. It's not going to be as great as what everybody else is going to put out there. But guess what? When God sees it, he looks at it and he says, I'm going to fill the gap in on that work. I'm going to fill the gap in on what he put out there. And you know what? That video, when I look at it, it is the perfect righteousness of Jesus Christ, because that was done in a spirit of excellence. And so I would just encourage you, don't get paralyzed by the inability to lock it down perfect to get it out. Sometimes you just got to get the videos out. And let me just tell you something. Be encouraged. The best videos, or the best performing videos that I have on YouTube, are the worst videos. There are major flaws in them. My ESV versus NASB video that I referenced earlier, it is an awful video front to back. It is terrible. The Bible reading video that I put out, the audio on it is terrible, and I made a conscious decision. I cannot refilm this because I need to get it out now. I have to get it out now. My best performing videos are some of the worst videos. My Bible study routine video, which is the second, these are the top 3 videos on my channel. The second most, there is a buzz in the audio through the entire video. It's just sitting there. Talk to you about my Bible reading. So, praise the Lord. That's right, Deb. Come on.
That's good.
Were you aware?
I'm Team Deb.
On your number 2 video with the audio buzz in the background, let's get real. Let's get down to brass tacks. Were you aware of it before you posted it, or was it afterwards that you became aware of it? And if you were aware of it,
when I knew all of these things were issues when I posted it. I wasn't aware of them when I was.
So
filming.
Was it a due date that you just said I got to post it, I got to be done with it, or was it an acceptance of, look, it's not going to be perfect?
The Bible reading video was, I need to get it out now. It was time sensitive, because there was a demand for the Bible reading plan.
Gotcha.
That I had not created anticipation for. People were just like, are you releasing a Bible reading plan? We want it. And so I realized I needed to get it out. The buzz video, where there's a buzz, I had batched 5 videos and they all had buzzes in it. I'm like, I'm not reshooting 5 videos. We got to get these out. And then the third video, that was the first one that really took off the channel, is I knew it was bad when I filmed it, but I did that video with the I have to film a video and get it out. I felt it in my soul. I've got to do this and get it out. So I kind of knew what I was going to get at the end of. But then again, I put the video out. I didn't think that it would be a huge. I thought it was I'm putting a video on my channel that gets a few hundred views once in a blue moon. I didn't think, oh yeah, let's throw 50,000 views on this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have, ironed my shirt.
Yep.
So
Hey, so my restream is not wanting to pull up the comments from this moment forward, but there were a whole lot of preach, pass the plate stuff going on while you were doing that.
yeah,
and
Dude, you were getting it.
and I had went to like just the wide shot of you, so you probably didn't see Jared and I over here. Like we're like, yeah, come on. So it was some good stuff. Hey, a couple of those comments I want to bring up here. J. Cole is saying, where was it? Right
J.
up
Cole
here.
sounds like you should be an R&B singer.
That does. J. Cole saying, Jason.
This is The Night by J. Cole.
Yeah. So Jay is obviously kind of a being newly introduced to you. He's asking, are you financially sustainable with your YouTube channel through donations or sponsorships?
Well, I want to be through donations. I want to see that go up. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I say it all the time. I think the last I checked, it's gone up a little bit. I'm making $51 a month from donations on YouTube. Bless the Lord. And the other day, you know what I was thinking? I'm really grateful for those people who do it. I feel supported through that. I just can't do anything with $51 a month. It just doesn't do anything. Literally cannot do anything.
Right.
And but it's not sponsorships either. Most of the money that comes in comes through affiliate links. So it's kind of like a sponsorship, but not. And that's people who are using, my reference to get. I mean, I just got a number back from one company that we work with, and which is the main source of income. And I mean, we sent them an astronomical amount of money last year in revenue.
It's probably that same company that doesn't want to accept me into their program.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think they opened it up though.
Yes.
I think the reason for
They
that
will
though, I'll tell
remain
you,
nameless on my channel, although when
They
I
will
have to
remain
refer to them,
nameless.
I still give your link, so that
but
way it
I'll
goes
tell
to you.
I do want you to know though, back in the day, that it was all done manually. They finally got an automated system, so that might be.
So since you
Better
sent
now.
them so much business, will you be like, do you renegotiate? This is some 202 stuff, but no?
No, I mean I'm happy with. I mean I thought my first check from them was going to be, $47.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to them Amazon affiliate checks. Here's $16. Somebody bought
Toilet paper.
7,000 books. So here's $16. And so then I get this check from them in the mail, and I'm thinking it's going to be $67, something like that. I get a bunch of those kind of checks.
Yeah.
And I opened it up, and it was $893. And I said, well, I think we've got something here now.
Yeah.
So then would you
And-
say that the totality of what you receive through your online digital ministry, is that enough to help sustain the efforts?
Yes and no. It's not predictable enough for me to commit to like getting employees or stuff, which is what I need. I need team members.
Right. Yeah, to be
do
able to
what
scale.
what I believe we need to do. Yeah, I need team members. So it's not predictable enough to do that. But because like Amazon just changed up all of their stuff. But could we live on it if we? I mean, let me put it this way. I'm probably making last year in everything. We probably brought in somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. I know that's a big window, but I'm saying that because I want to be as forthright as I can be.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
that-
no.
it
Fair enough,
doesn't.
man.
It's not enough to actually get our attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So because when those come in, it's a $1,000 check, and I'll be honest with you, I mean $1,000 check will sit on my desk for 6 weeks before I even deal with it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. So who wants to sow a seed in Jesus' name?
Right.
67.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go. No, Jay was asking. He says that he found Trey Van Camp on that church conference a couple days ago, then found me and Jared as the Holy Spirit led him, and all three are very unique in their style. Absolutely. And then you get hashtag not your pastor,
Hello.
who just, man, so good. Makes me wish that I had a way with my streaming software to be able to have a 5-second delay just in case he says anything.
I thought about bringing a
No
cuss
way,
jar.
man. Isn't that the beauty of this, though? Because I thought I was by myself a couple years ago, about, I don't know, however long it's been, 3-4 years ago. I was making videos. I'd seen some Casey Neistat stuff. I'm posting up there, and I'm like, man, there's nobody in this space. I'm just like making these awesome videos. And then I stumbled across folks like Joshua and Trey, and then I'm like, never mind. So to encourage you guys out, there are a few, but to encourage you guys out there like me who are just coming across these YouTubers, and these two are fantastic YouTubers. Their videos are incredible. Don't be discouraged by the quality or that they may be in the same lane as you, because we all have a unique voice out there. So anyway, just want to head that off. That even becomes anything.
Yeah, we got Jason Gibson hopping in the house. Another one of my favorite Jasons shouting out. Diana Gladney saying, "Uh-oh, Jason Mayfield is on the Vlog Pastors. Laugh out loud. It is happening."
Finally.
Then this is another one. Favor Etanoza saying,
Yeah,
hello.
I know Favor.
Do you?
Yeah, Favor comes on. They're a part of our channel.
Well, there you go. So that's how we wind up finding them. Okay, so Evan Briscoe had said, where do you guys see online ministry going 10 years from now? That's a great question.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think all of the predictions have become a little more shuffled because of everything that just went down.
That's true.
I thought within 10 years, I thought that, churches pretty much don't do Sunday morning. I'm sorry, they do Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Churches pretty much don't do Sunday night anymore. That's kind of gone away.
And a lot of them are getting rid of the midweeks.
A lot of people are going to at least one midweek service. And so the next thing that'll probably get changed will be like small group gatherings and things. And I think those are going to go more digital. I don't think they'll go completely, because you got some people just want to be with folks.
Yeah.
But in terms of busyness of schedule and everything, and, we have the benefit of what we do. We've seen how powerful Zoom is for creating connection prior to this, which is like a Skype for groups in essence. And so I don't know. I mean, I kind of felt before all of this that within the next 10 years, Sunday morning would be the only time that the church was really gathering, and everything else would be digital, because we do have a Christian education deficit right now. I don't think Sunday school was necessarily the best model. I don't think Wednesday night services were the best model. I don't think Sunday night services were the best model, but there is something that has been lost.
Yeah.
Because, and this is why I'm about to philosophize, y'all. Philosophize. We changed our model to where Sunday morning became short brochure style services that were what we call evangelism style services. We're going to, Sunday mornings for new people and people who are coming to the Lord, bless God. And I'm okay with that. But we had Sunday nights, we had Wednesday nights, where Sunday nights you're, spirit filled moment, and Wednesday nights your Christian education moment, because of how we were doing Sunday mornings in that bite-sized concept. We got rid of a lot of stuff like, altar calls where people make a physical move, and Sunday school and all of that kind of stuff kind of went away. Well, the problem is when we put all of that other stuff that is important on Sunday night and Wednesday night, and then we went, but now let's get rid of Wednesday night and Sunday night, but we didn't change Sunday morning. It created a deficit, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to see that stuff get solved with digital, which is going to be interesting.
I'm gonna take you one further on that one. I think everything that we see or had seen coming 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, because of this COVID-19 thing, we are accelerated like
It's
at
moved up.
lightning pace. So everything that was 10, 20 years down the road is now we're greeting it at the end of this deal. And what I think is going on is I think you're going to see the face-to-face church stuff, which may be Sunday morning now. The face-to-face things are really a get-together, a celebration time of the folks physically gathering together. And all of your teaching segments are mainly hosted online. Because you can distribute it, all your outreach stuff, you can reach more people that way. I mean, you're still going to have physical stuff because the church will gather. But I think your core, the guys who are, let's just talk because it's the three of us, the guys who are going to go and get smashed, just get wrecked in the Holy Spirit on a day, on a given whatever time frame, that we're going to gather together, we're going to get wrecked, and then we'll see each other again next week or the next available time. But your mainline teachings are probably going to be, your Sunday schools, your Wednesday nights, whatever. That's going to be either hosted via Zoom or some sort of prepackaged deal that you can get out to everybody who needs to go through the different, Book of Joshua, Book of Job, book whatever.
Yeah, and I agree with your assessment that things are going to move up in time in terms of that 10 years has become a lot sooner because we've been kind of thrown into a rapid move right now. My prediction is that when churches start meeting again, there will be a month probably of just celebrating being together, focusing on being together, even pastors and stuff, be focusing on this. And there'll be a little bit of trying to get the mothball smell off of everything, for a month.
Right.
And then I think there's going to be a staff meeting that happens 4 to 8 weeks after everybody comes together where senior leaders or whoever asserts themselves as a senior leader in a meeting will say, how do we never find ourselves behind the 8 ball on this again? And that will be where it starts to take off.
Yeah, and if that question, where do I see it going in the next 10 years? Digital ministry is not going anywhere. It's going to be there. I don't even look at it that aspect. I would look at it, where do I see physical ministry going in 10 years? I think it may be even the wrong question. And I've been saying this for the last couple. So we'll say if I gave them a 10-year countdown, they've got 8 left. If your church is not heavily involved in an online video digital ministry, in 10 years, your doors are closed and nobody even knows who you are. You're completely irrelevant, because what has happened is you have now put off the upcoming generations, and the generation that was able to sustain it has now died off. And so that's where I've been saying that 10-year thing. I'm excited to see all of the churches that are at least making an effort. And that's been one of my things. I know the three of us, we've talked about this. I come down really hard on any church that I think is lazy in what they're doing right now. If you're not making some type of an effort, why are you doing anything in the first place? If you're just trying to do a regurgitation of what you've already done, to me, it's if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And it's not going to get you very far. So that's kind of where I've come on that.
Can I ask you a question? Your audience?
No, you can't. Yes.
Your audience relatively spirit-filled? Would you think? If you had to guess?
No, I would say I've got a very broad cross-section. Because there are a lot of people that I know have hopped in the chat that are from other denominations that aren't what we would classify as being spirit-filled. And when they find out that I am, some of them even left the channel.
Can I be weird and Pentecostal? Is that okay?
You can be whatever you want to be. I don't care.
Okay, I want to just give a prediction, admonition, prophecy. Think of some other fun words.
You
and
do
insert
it.
your own. I want to encourage you with your live meetings when you start coming back together and moving forward. I think it will benefit you both in spiritual development, but also in practicality with your church and with your growth. If you lean into your Pentecost and you lean into your charismata when everything starts to come back together. I just want to tell you something I'm seeing, and this is on the more practical standpoint. I've been Pentecostal through it not being cool, and I've stuck with that, and I've been laying hands on people, praying for people through it not being cool. Okay, everybody wants to, do their little, I love Andy Stanley, but it just don't play real well in a Pentecostal church, okay? And everybody's been doing that. I was Pentecostal through the whole thing, okay? But I want you to know, being Pentecostal is coming back into vogue. It is starting to be cool again. And you have an opportunity to have an edge. There was a day, several decades there, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, where Pentecostals set the tone for what the church world did, the direction they went, the type of music that they sang, what the energy of services were like. Let me tell you right now, any pastor that preaches in blue jeans is doing it because there was a Pentecostal pastor who did it. I'm just telling you. That's just the fact. Any church that's using guitars in worship services that are rock and roll, that's because a Pentecostal did it first. And that's just the fact. That being said, where you are right now, it's about to turn. It's starting to be in vogue to be Pentecostal. What you don't want to do is you don't want to not use your greatest asset because you're still operating in this fear of people are going to think we're weird. People are going to think that this, that, or the other. You need to start giving altar calls again. You need to start laying hands on people. You need to start operating in the gifts of the Spirit. You need to pray. You need to ask the Lord, give me a word of knowledge at least every 3 weeks in church. I'm telling you, it is going to benefit you on multiple levels.
And there's one thing. Let me pull this out for those that are not Pentecostal hearing this, because they just heard you say I'm going Pentecostal and they went ahead and they turned the hearing aids off and they're like, I'm not listening.
We going to pray for people?
No,
right now.
Jason just
the baptism.
You just said something that was very powerful in there that they missed because they weren't listening. You said you need to lean into one of your greatest assets. Your greatest asset is going to be the thing that differentiates you from the person down the street. It's going to be that thing that is unique to you, your gifts, your calling. Sometimes it's even that doctrinal belief that you hold on to and what you're able to do. So I would even take this from not just absolutely amen, Pentecostal people, man, start getting on fire and let people see you burn. They'll come to watch it. But for those that aren't in there, first, really study it out because you should be. And second, if you're not, well, hey, lean into the one thing that you're heavy with. If you're heavy in something, do it. If your church is got a strength in just dissecting the Bible, start leaning into that. Whatever your strength is, that's what you need to be showing off. Be who God has called you to be and press in even harder on that in this season. One other caveat I would throw here with digital, online, and physical ministry, and this kind of comes to back kind of full circle with Clint's message about would we have one channel that's this or multiple channels for this? Know your audience. Know who your primary audience is. My in-person meetings look a little bit different than what my online meetings are. Because my in-person meetings, I know everybody that's there and the few that would come in that aren't from it. And so that's where it's like, I would just be pressing in on, this is my audience, this is who I'm trying to reach, this is who God has called me to reach, and so focus on that and try to deliver what it is that the Holy Spirit's telling you they need in that moment.
Yeah, and you gotta know what plays in the room and what plays online too, because I got a friend, and I just can't get him to understand it. This guy is a prince of preachers. You know how preachers can preach, and you're like, not just they could preach about hot dogs. And it would just be like, this is a powerful moment of this guy preaching nonsense. Yeah. And he's one of those. And in the service, man, it is just like he's this master craftsman of words and illustrations and stories and cadence. And he comes off like a fake idiot on the internet. It works when you're observing what's happening in the room. But when he goes on camera and we want to welcome you.
Well, and that's part of this. Part of it is the context that we're in, the situation that we're in, because I'm seeing that with a lot of preachers doing online stuff. They're still focused on, I'm trying to give this message to 50, 100, 1,000 people at once. And while you are doing that, you're only connecting with them through one-on-one type of messages. And so it's like, when I'm looking at this lens, I'm talking to JARROD, I'm talking to Jason, I'm talking to all of you, and it's individual yous that I'm doing. And that's where knowing the audience and connecting. So here's something, if you go and you're live streaming a church service, you're back meeting, and you've got a room full of people, just like you would be looking at the individual people here when you're scanning your congregation, look back to that camera and speak to that person in the camera. And they're going to be pulled into that because it's a one-on-one connection. What do you think?
Hey, not to get too far, I want to throw my 2 cents in here because I think I'm the non-Pentecostal in the group right here.
No,
we were talking a little bit
You're
beforehand.
Pentecostal.
Whatever you want to call it. I don't know that we necessarily identify as Pentecostal, but what you said, Jason and Joshua, is true. And if I could put it in a little bit different verbiage for the folks who maybe don't identify as strongly as Pentecostal, it's you're asking, there's a resurgence of the church being the church. You're saying, let's rely on our greatest asset, which Pentecostals would say is the gifting or whatever, but let's rely on our God who should take center stage in this time. And they talked about a bunch of different practical ways of how that comes out. You look at the camera, you engage, and that sort of thing. But the intangible element that they're talking about is a word of knowledge. You can't whip that up. That doesn't just come out of you. That there's a introduction of somebody else coming into the service that we need to take respect for yet again, where it's no longer like Jason was saying, it's no longer a wonderful, charismatic, in the form of the word, preacher who can navigate a sermon in a room. We are now dependent upon this living God who's going to usurp himself and put himself into the equation. And the churches who can do that, the ones who can, as they say in different streams, host the presence, or the ones who can give leeway for the Spirit of God to do what he does, whether you're Baptist, whether you're Presbyterian, whether you're Pentecostal, I don't care. The people who can do that and let God be God, you're the true church. I don't want to get weird and divisive. I'm just saying that's it. Whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to give it, let him be him. You're going to see growth, you're going to see healing, you're going to see all the things that the church is, and you'll become the church again. I think focusing on that. So good word, Jason.
Well, and just to push back, you said you're not Pentecostal. Hey, J. Cole said, I watched your last sermon, JARROD, and that was Pentecostal.
Well, I think, JARROD, when
definition.
you said earlier, you would identify more as a charismatic. And
I'm like a Bible church charismatic cross. I got done with interning, and I got done with seminary and whatnot, and I turned around to some of the guys who had really invested into my life, and I said, what in the world did you make? What are we?
And this could be something as simple as, again, semantics, where we get in here. I've asked Jason this a couple times, where it's like, what do you mean by that word? What do you mean by this? And that could even be Pentecostal. When I say Pentecostal, I literally go back to the day of Pentecost. If you are operating by the Holy Spirit, dropping a message into you and delivering that message, that is the simplest definition of Pentecostal. There are all of these other little things that we put onto it. So when I see people doing that, I don't care if they're a pastor of a Baptist church. If they're doing that, they're Baptocostal. I mean,
yeah.
So it's
when
just
when I say Pentecostal, I'm definitely talking flavor and function, and not, that you specifically meet the doctrinal criteria to be Pentecostal.
Right, like of a UPC or anything like that. Yep.
And certainly not that. Which UPC and apostolic and stuff. There's enough heresy floating around there to concern us all. But
all of our camps have got a little something. Hey, there are a couple other questions I want to get to. We do. We're going to go down there. By the way, if anybody has issues with anything from this stream, you can send all of your hate mail to notyourpastor@thejasonmayfield.com.
You can email me straight at jason@graceforlife.tv.
He won't answer them, just so you know.
I'll set your nonsense straight if I'm in the right mood.
Hey, a couple other questions that came in here. I want to make sure that we get to these. Kyle Thompson saying, I think I may have missed the conversation, but what happened to Jason Mayfield's black shirt?
Today is actually probably the first day on camera without a black shirt on. But I've been archiving the journey on Instagram.
Yes. I have seen you in, it was like this light green. It almost blended in with like your teal in the back from it was like you were channeling the Green Ranger. I think I saw you in like a purple or a light blue. It may have been a filter.
No. I did. I've done green. I've done tan.
That's
white,
what it was. It was the tan one.
Gray.
Yeah, don't wear that tan one again.
I liked it.
Don't.
I'm having so much fun.
If you wear that tan one, please don't call me on Instagram anymore.
I wouldn't wear my watch with the tan though. I felt like that was clashy.
That was a little too much. Way too much black watch. Skin tones. I think it was the skin tone. It just kind of played with your skin tone for me. So that's what I would set there.
Thank you.
Anyways, Pastor Orlando had asked, hey, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, what would you suggest for platforms?
Well, not Twitter. I don't think if you're talking about growing one today from scratch, Twitter is basically a non-starter. But everywhere else is about what you can build. And so, it really comes down. But here's the thing. If you'll do each platform according to how each platform grows, you can get it. My wife has a huge following on Facebook and a huge following on Instagram and a huge following on TikTok.
Yep.
But she doesn't have a huge following on YouTube. And that's one of our things that we're working on right now is creating content that is geared towards that YouTube style of content. Yep. And so if you'll do what each platform asks you to do, then you'll exceed on all of them as long as you have something of value to offer.
Yeah. And
I think, go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, I like this. Start where you're at, and wherever you're already present, start there. If you're going to go somewhere where you're not at, go where your audience is at. And so if you've already got a physical ministry, where are they at? And go there. And then if they're not, start with one and then just go. Barring the Holy Spirit just dropping something in you and saying, hey, I know you have no idea what TikTok is, but you need to get on TikTok right now. If he does that, well, don't listen to me, go listen to him. But barring that, start where you're at. Just whatever platform you're on, and then wherever your audience is at, go there. But like Jason said, use the platform the way it was designed. My largest following is actually on Twitter. And so I get a lot of engagement on Twitter. I don't get much from the video side, but my comments, little tweets that I'll put out, just little pithy type comments, and I connect with a lot of people through DMs there. And I have no idea why, so I'm kind of the pushback where I'm like, if you've got people on Twitter and you're already there, use it, leverage it.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. It's not a good place to start right now.
If I were starting from scratch and I had 0 followers on every platform, if I were going to get into video, I would start on YouTube. First and foremost, that's where I would go, because I think it gives the longevity that you want, and it's the behemoth out there on video, period. So you've got the greatest opportunity to reach through YouTube. If I wasn't focusing on video content, but I was focusing more on just like quotes and stuff like that, I'd probably start on Facebook. What do you guys think?
Man, I'm handicapped. I'm sitting here listening to you guys. I'm probably more of the comment section than the guru, because I've done everything, all that you're talking about, that you shouldn't do. Like I restarted an Instagram account because I got upset. Here's real talk. I got upset with friends and family because they didn't they didn't like or share or anything I was posting. It was bad content, but that's hindsight. So I was posting terrible things that I wanted them to like and share and comment on. So I got upset on Instagram and started a new Instagram account, and thus I have like 140 followers on Instagram, killing it. So I got like, don't listen to me.
Yeah.
I have no opinion. I'm listening to you guys. Going, man, I'm just glad to be a part of the conversation. So what would you do, Jason?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on what you want to accomplish, to be honest with you. I mean, it kind of goes back to that. I'm kind of with you. I don't know that I would do Facebook for quotes and stuff. I probably would go to Instagram, even though apparently quotes on Instagram are starting to not perform well at all. But I would say not quotes, but if I was doing more small content, I would be on Instagram. I think Instagram is more rewarding and it's more streamlined. Facebook is like, buying a device that does 100,000 things.
Yeah.
But you really only need it's like the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot does all this stuff, but I need it to like
do one thing.
Yeah, well, here's
cooking.
the deal. Here's the deal with Facebook, though. All the kids say we're not on Facebook. Facebook's dumb. But if you want to talk to everybody, they're still on Facebook.
I don't know. Facebook, we're learning it's a harder jump. So for us, because Ashley's on TikTok, doing a lot on TikTok, and then Facebook is where we function out of. What we found is that Instagram is actually the mediator between the two.
Yeah.
I probably can't get you from TikTok to Facebook, and I probably can't get you from Facebook to TikTok, but I can get you from either one of those to Instagram.
Right.
Nah,
Well, and
fascinating.
I would
YouTube
say
is-
Instagram has a really strong ability of being kind of that pivot hub, because they do photos. You can do photos with quotes. You can do short little clip videos. You can do long form videos. So you can get people from Instagram to YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So
and
you might
honestly,
have me rethinking the Instagram approach.
Yeah, my strategy as of right now, and I'm about to start doing some more TikTok stuff. I had a great TikTok template. It's just the upkeep of it, but now that I've brought on the editor, you're about to start getting a lot more Jason Mayfield than y'all were ready for.
And Jason,
Just to tell
I'm
you right
telling
now.
you, I'm only giving you a couple more weeks to start cranking out those your TikTok content, or I'm stealing it. That's how good it was. It
Well,
would be
I wrote
like
a bunch yesterday.
It would be like if you abandoned your intro on your YouTube channel, Hello Faithful Friends of the Internet. You abandon that, I'm
right up.
stealing it immediately. I was praying that you wouldn't realize what you had when I first heard that. I was like, if he
As soon as
doesn't
I
get
said
this,
it, I was like, yep, we gotta use
I'm
that.
taking it.
No, but my strategy is Instagram and YouTube, really. If you want me in real time, go to my Instagram. If you want the produced content, YouTube is it. Other than this is real time.
Yeah. And my focus is YouTube, and then I'll only use the others to try to help promote that stuff. And so it doesn't look like that because you'll catch stuff on the other platforms that seems like it's unique and original, but it has its base in whatever I'm creating for YouTube. So that's me. Oh, and I think that might have been the last comment that we had. Was there another one in here? Henry had said, as J&J, and the new J will find out, I'm the minister of a church of less than 100. We had started live streaming on Ustream, then transitioned to Facebook. Now we're transitioning to YouTube when COVID-19 hit. He suggested to his pastor to go to Zoom for Bible studies. And for Resurrection Sunday last week, they did the 7 last words on Zoom for a Bible study. What do you think about using those groups? Whether it's, okay, so Zoom, they've got their meeting function that you can use that. Facebook just launched Facebook Messenger groups that now you can start using that. Skype has a meet
Have they
now.
launched it, or are they launching it?
They have launched it in some people have already got access that I've seen. Others it's rolling out. So I would venture to say everybody's going to have access with that in the next couple weeks. If they don't already have it. Skype has Meet Now that you can use. And I just saw this morning, I think it was, or maybe yesterday, that Google's Meet app is now free for people to use as well. And I think you can have like 100 people for up to an hour in that type of a group. What are your thoughts on using platforms like that for some of that midweek type content, the small group type studies?
I mean, I like the idea of being on Zoom.
You guys use
specifically
Zoom for
'cause I
your
understand
business.
it. Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 Zoom accounts. I mean, so I mean, I'm pro Zoom. I think it works. I think you just got to play with it and figure it out, and it is more relational, give people an opportunity to talk. But I'll tell you this, I mean, I've been preaching this from the rooftops, is I don't care where you live stream. Number one, I don't know that live stream is going to be the long-term digital thing that you need to do. Coming into COVID-19, prior to COVID-19, Josh knows this, I was way preaching against live streams for churches. I think it is the worst way to reach people. Right now, live streams on Sunday morning. Let me correct that. Sunday morning live stream your service. Now, I think it's necessary because I think as a service, you provide some normality to the schedule, to your people by doing something on Sunday morning. I would not invest more than $500 into live stream equipment on Sunday morning right now because I don't think long term it's going to be the thing. And if you haven't invested it now, don't do it. We're at least at the halfway point of this thing. But if you're going to do any kind of live streaming video or stuff, it doesn't matter if you do it on Ustream, Facebook, live stream, YouTube. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you've got people's email addresses and you're sending them a link to the stream in their email. Because it doesn't matter where you post it. People are not just coming and seeing it. And when you post it, that doesn't mean that it's being put in front of people. And so some of you pastors out there, I'm just talk straight to y'all. Y'all live in this world of unreal expectations thinking I put it on Facebook so the whole church should watch it. The whole church might not even see it, sir. So you take control of that and you go put it in a mailing list.
I'll push back on that because I've got over 9,000 unopened emails sitting there that says I won't read your emails.
No, I'm the same way. I hate email. But I'm telling you, email works. It works. It may not work on you. It don't work on me. But it still works.
It works. Text messaging is even better, and so you could use
text messages are better, but they're harder to get.
They're harder to get, but you've got services out there like Text in Church, and they've got a bunch of different ways for you to be able to opt in and help out with that with your church. So that would be something to look at. Here's the ultimate thing when it comes to capturing your audience, and honestly, this is maybe just a very fundamental question that you should be asking. Am I more concerned about what I'm getting out of it or what I'm putting into it? And that's what I'm seeing a lot of people focused on. When it comes to live streaming, a lot of churches are like, well, I want them to be able to watch this. And instead, I think you should be saying, I want to be able to give them this. It's a subtle little mind shift switch, but then all of a sudden, if you're focused on your output rather than, your return, you're able to be more laser focused on it, and it alleviates a lot of the pressure of what happened if they didn't watch. Because, hey, if you churches haven't realized this, sure, you got 1,000 views on Facebook. Go ahead and dump into your analytics and look at that. Your average view time and view duration was 23 seconds, which means you had 3 people in your church that watched the whole sermon, and the other 998 people saw it for 3 seconds and jumped off. And that's where their analytics are just absolutely horrible. And so it's these overinflated numbers. No, you're not reaching 1,000 people. If you really want to think about reach, how would you calculate reach? Would you calculate reach as being not even an elevator pitch? You don't even get them for 30 seconds, but you got them for 3 seconds. You were able to say, hey, how you doing? And that was it. If that's how you consider reach, sure, you reached 1,000 people. If you consider reach of actually having and giving them something of substance, well, you didn't reach that many people at least. So that would be something else where the focus is on the output. When I think about live streaming in a church setting, and I had this conversation, I think it was either yesterday, the day before, here in Iowa, they've loosened the restrictions on churches. They're saying churches are now exempt from our, meeting requirements, and you can go ahead and start returning this Sunday if you want to return. That's fine. Well, if I want to get technical, you couldn't have stopped me from meeting in the first place. I just would have done it. But I chose not to because I wanted to really try to protect my people. That being said, they've asked me, are we going to live stream? No, I'm not live streaming once we get back. We will record our service. I will edit it, and we'll be able to upload it at a later time once we meet, which we're not going back to meet this Sunday. So if any of my people are listening now and you haven't heard, no, there's still no church at our building this Sunday. We'll play it week by week. But for me, if you're doing live stream, here's the one thing that you need. With an online ministry, you need the engagement. You need the interaction. We've been able to keep these people watching for, we're going on 2 hours now on this little meeting with us. And there are people that have been here for almost the entirety of the time because we're engaging with them. And if I don't have the people in our church to be able to focus on that service and engaging in the comments, and I'm talking multiple people to be able to do that, then we're not doing
That's right.
it. And if we don't have good audio, we're not doing it. And if it's not even got some type of a visual nature to it, where other than just a locked off steady camera, we're not using it. I would want to be able to pull up scriptures, pull up illustrations, anything that I put on our TV or projector at church, they need to be able to see on their device they're watching it at home. And if we don't have that ability and the people to run it, we're just not going to do it. And so for us to do that, it wouldn't be just me doing everything. I need about 4 or 5 other people to be able to do it. And we probably don't need to spend any money because I've spent plenty and I've got all the equipment. But if we don't have the bodies to be able to do it, we're just not going to do it. Which I guess could come back to our conversation about perfectionism. One of the quotes that I learned in our Bible school, and it stuck with me, and I have no idea who originated it. It's good, better, best. Never rest until your good becomes better and your better is best. And that's kind of how I operate. If it's good, I'm going to put it out there. But just because I put good out there doesn't mean I just stay with that. I'm going to kind of try to improve every single time. How can I make this good better? And then if I've got it better, how can I make it the best that's out there? And that's that striving for excellence or striving perfection, realizing I'm not going to attain it, but trying to constantly improve. There's my live stream rant.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for outreach, I think the novelty of this whole thing is going to wear off quickly if it hasn't already.
Yeah.
About live streaming the services, even our vlog portion. The part where you get the retention and the engagement is just what you said, Joshua. It's because the church is there. They're excited about Sunday. They're excited about it's the only time they're getting to see one another, and so we're all in there posting, talking, catching up. Oh, did you see that? What do you mean? This is my favorite part. That's what makes it engaging and interactive. Well, whenever the church is in the building, well, you lost that.
Right.
You lost that element, and now you're watching something online, and you lost the novelty of it. But if you're looking at it as an outreach thing, well, then we need to drastically change the way that we do it. It can't be a live stream, locked off something shot where you see the pastor up there. I think you've got to make something like what we make, Josh. I think you've got to make a story, or you've got to make a vlog, or you've got to make something that gets you out of the church or out of that static, stale environment and does something for you as far as if you're looking at it as an evangelistic tool.
Yeah.
And a Sunday morning live stream still not, it doesn't matter if you do a locked off or a $7 million production. A Sunday morning live stream as an evangelistic outreach is an idiot idea anyway.
It's a bad call.
But that's
what we're talking about.
Why are they going to wake up? Why are they going to wake up and watch you on the computer at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning?
That's the conversation going around churches. That's the misconception is, I have a boost in numbers. I have however many thousand people who are hopping on to watch online. Let's carry this momentum over.
No, you don't have a boost in numbers. You got a bunch of people that are locked in their house and they're scrolling on the internet.
This is true.
And I think too, I don't think the novelty of live stream is going to wear off for pastors. And this is why I like being not your pastor, because I have an objective view that's a little different. And listen, I've watched live stream. I know what the deal's been. Everybody who's doing live stream right now, pastors that are doing live stream, you're not doing it and it just occurred to you that you could do live stream. You may be doing live stream for the first time in your life, but it's not like you just thought, what if we did live streams? You've been thinking about it. It's been on your radar. You've been aware of it because everybody who can live stream does. And it's not effective for all but about 20 churches in the world. And they're all the ones that got there earlier. And to be honest with you, all it is, live streams at this point, this is the evolution of live streams. I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you as crude as I normally would tell you behind the doors.
Come on.
But I'm going to tell you.
Come on.
I'm going to tell you straight. Deb Verwers is not ready for me putting it down like it is. But this is how it happened. Back in the mid-2000s, some churches started dabbling with live streaming. That was lifechurch.tv. At the time. Now it's life.church, but lifechurch.tv at the time. That was Stephen Furtick around 06, 07, 08. Some of these churches started live streaming, and it became a real deal where they were actually having people go to church, and it helps when the whole world is your platform because you're the only 3 churches doing it.
Right.
Okay? So that's number one. That's where it started. Well, then, towards the end of the 2000s, there was a revival in Lakeland, Florida, again, because everything starts with Pentecostals. Come on, somebody. But there was a revival in Lakeland, Florida, and they needed to start live streaming it easily, and they used Ustream.tv. Ustream became something that churches were aware of. Ustream started a lot of churches broadcasting their services on the internet. So what happened was at this point, we got taken off where everybody started to keep up with the Joneses between pastors. I'd say this differently if we were not on Josh's channel. On my channel, I'd even say it the way I want to. But it became a contest between pastors trying to keep up with each other and impress each other's, where they go, oh, yeah, we're live streaming. Oh, we're live streaming too. Oh, well, yeah, how long you been doing it? Oh, yeah, we live stream. We live stream all of our services. In every Sunday we're live streaming. And so pastors started trying to keep up with each other. Well, that went on for a few years until about 2015, 2016, 2017, and then everybody forgot that it was just a big contest between all these pastors, and they actually thought it was necessary for ministry, and they thought it was essential like Sunday school. And now you got a bunch of people who are walking around thinking that live streaming is essential, and the only return on investment you get is negative unless you've been doing it for 15 years and you're one of the largest churches in the nation, or you're an anomaly. And there are a handful of anomalies, but pastors, listen to me. I know that you like to believe that your church is an anomaly. Listen, I've heard enough of this is the only church in multiple churches to know that this ain't the only church. That's happening everywhere. Every church I go to, you know what I hear? This isn't live stream, but I hear this. Every church I go to, pastors will tell me, people show up and visitors are constantly telling us that this is the warmest and the most friendly church they've ever been to. Well, I done worked at about 13 of those churches. So either I go to the friendliest churches on the freaking face of the planet, or you are not getting good feedback. So you need to actually sit down and look at your stuff and go ROI. You've got the friendliest church in the world, sir. Why do you only run 75 people? If you've got the friendliest church in the world, you ought to have the largest church in the world. Since you're the friendliest,
oh man,
my God, you can't get your ushers to walk down the aisles at the same time. And that is harder than you think. I was in a church of over 1,000, and we're in a 6 months process going, how can these guys not just take off at the same time? They all leave at different moments. What the heck is going on with these guys? It's like 1, 2, 3, walk. That's right.
I do not regret this at all. I do not regret this at all. This is the greatest decision
It took
ever.
a long time to get me there, but y'all finally said stuff that got me set off, dadgummit. But that's the thing. I'm worried that live streaming won't get you won't get the novelty to wear off, because a lot of times in church, I didn't realize, I knew it, but I didn't realize to the extent till I was on the other side of it. When I was in ministry, I already knew I had some different perspectives and different metrics than most pastors. But when I got on the other side, I didn't realize how isolated we live in our own world and make our own details. I love pastors, but some of y'all make up some of your own statistics and you make up your own ideas of what's going on in the community.
Right.
Behind the scene, I won't say what it was, but Josh sent me a text message he got a couple days ago from someone who wanted to meet with him about something that was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And I thought, what? But it's people making up stuff that's going on that's not going on. That's like some of you pastors out there believe you're the only church in your area preaching the gospel. Hey, you may be the only church preaching what you're preaching, but you're not the only church preaching the gospel. You're not the only church reaching people. You're not in it alone. You're not there by yourself. You may think you're better than everybody, but that doesn't mean you're the only one doing something. And so, I mean,
So,
I've worked in
Jason-
every kind of church you can imagine.
Jason, having all of that exposure, let me ask you, what does that pastor do? Redirect him. Live streaming is the new way. We've got new engagement. It's not. We got that. So what does he do?
Archive it and put it on the internet at a later time. But even putting your services on the internet is not going to be your big win. You need to be tearing that content down into smaller consumable bites. So if I was a pastor right now and I was preaching and I was trying to think about engaging people online, I'd be writing my message, and my 3 points in that message would become small, consumable, essentially videos of themselves. So instead of writing 3 points, I'm writing 3 or YouTube videos. Okay. Right. So that way I can cut those down, turn those into videos we post on YouTube that are titled and keyword tagged in a way that are searchable. The other thing that I'd be doing is tearing those down and turning them into social media clips with subtitles. Pastor, if you're putting social media clips out and they don't have subtitles on them, you're not putting out social media clips. You know, and these are services you could pay for. You don't have to do all of this yourself, and you don't have to have volunteers in your church. And let me just tell you something right now. That social media with subtitles on it, you want to talk about growing your church, Pastor? You know, you don't need a volunteer. My God, it amazes me how much some of y'all want to volunteer to grow your church. You ought to go pay money to grow your church. If you knew that you could invest $1,000 a month and your church would grow 3 times in the next year, you'd be a fool not to do it. Go find $1,000, spend the money, and make it happen. My God. But what do I know over here? You know, I'm not your pastor.
All right, my new favorite phrase is, let me tell you something right now. I can tell something good is about to follow.
That'll preface something right there. But for real, I mean, and that's the deal with pastors, you know, sometimes it's like we want to deal with all of this stuff that doesn't actually yield anything. And I made a comment recently with a group of pastors that, Josh, you might have been in there, Jared, when I said it. You know, I told somebody recently, right now, the most important thing with your online videos is what? And someone says people get saved. I said, nope. And you would think it is that people get saved. It's not. It's that you get the contact information. Because I can't do stuff with people who are getting saved, who I don't even know if they got saved. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When people say the salvation prayer, I believe that they are saved. I'm not over here on this, what's his face, who wrote Radical. What's that guy's name? You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't believe it's some superstitious prayer. I do believe it is a prayer that works. It's David something, isn't it?
Pratt.
David Pratt.
Yeah.
Platt, not Pratt.
Yeah, David Platt. I was thinking of a different book altogether.
I don't believe the salvation prayer is some superstitious prayer that doesn't work. But there is a point where I go, if I said the salvation prayer 3 years ago and I never actually assimilated enough gospel to actually believe in Jesus Christ, I don't know that it works. I think there's a grandfather clause on the salvation prayer that it's like, hey, you might need to come back next week so you actually learn what you just prayed. Some people don't hear the gospel until they're praying it. You know, people will go to church and hear a message on how to be a better, you know, husband and wife couple team thing. And then they start, if you need Jesus this morning, pray this prayer. Lord, I thank you that you died and you rose again. Hang on a second. He died? Who died? We haven't heard nothing about no dying until just now. And you got me repeating it.
Well,
got
gents,
people declaring a gospel they've never heard, which is pretty good. I mean, if you want to get people on the ground fast, but you know, so
yeah,
I think the most important thing is that you're getting their contact information so you can do something with these people.
Here's what I would even say if I can try to wrap all of this up. I would sit there and say we've touched
which
on
is
this.
Good because you got to wrap it up at some point because I got to go teach these kids. We're all first grade teachers now.
I got to figure out how to do this. If I were to try to wrap this up, I would sit there and say we're not focused on the result, the return on investment as much as we want to be and as much as we should be. What are you actually expecting? When you're putting content out there, yes, you're trying to get this information to them. Why? Why? What do you want them to do? Think about that. How do we want them to respond to this? What is the, in marketing terms, what's the call to action? And that would be the one thing. If you're trying to get them saved, then that entire message needs to be directed at this is the end result that I want. And so that's what I would sit there and say. If you're trying, what is that? Why are you doing it? Why are you putting it out there in the first place? If you can find that why, if you can start with that, why am I doing it? Everything else becomes a whole lot easier to line up. You can figure out what platform I need to be on because I know the why. You can figure out what content do I need to make because of the why. You can figure out what medium do I need to use because of the why. That's the thing. If your goal is focused on, I need to educate these people into doctrine, then use something like a Zoom type of a platform where you can really interact with them and have some feedback in more of a small group environment. If it's a mass evangelical message and you think that online video is going to do it for you, well, then you better be able to somehow get them in a call to action to actually respond and give you the information that you need so you can follow up. Just saying a prayer and not being able to connect with them, you're not even going to know if they got saved in the first place.
Yeah.
Start with
And
why.
I'll say this, just to start us off on another whole thing here, but if you think right now during this COVID-19 season, because listen, this is all people need right now from you as a pastor. They need hope and they need some type of connection and normalcy. Okay. And you need to help provide those things. They need hope, connection, normalcy. And I've said this about connection before. Most people need connection and they don't go for what they need. They're going to do consumption, but you need to provide connection if you can. That's where the Zooms come in. But pastor, if you think right now your people need doctrine, you are grossly out of touch. And when I say doctrine, I'm not talking about basic tenets of faith that bring hope and stuff. But if you're trying to teach your people about the Trinity right now, you are grossly out of touch.
If they need it, that's where you need to be doing some one-on-one type of calls with them and doing that type of stuff. But
I'm going to be honest with you. Listen.
Some of them might actually need that, though. I'm going to push back a little bit. Some might actually need that. But if you think that your Sunday morning live stream needs to be aimed at that, that's where I would agree that you're out of touch.
But I'm going to say this, too. If you've got somebody who needs doctrine right now, and someone who needs to be taught stuff that's ethereal and more academic, then you're dealing with people who are grossly out of touch at the moment. And you need to help bring them back and calibrate them. I mean, look, I'm in the best scenario for COVID-19. I'm not pastoring a church. We make all of the money out of our house. I'm going to go ahead and say this, so y'all sow a seed. Our income has not gone down. It's gone up. We've made more money in COVID-19 than we've made previously. So, I mean, we're killing it in COVID-19. And bonus, I don't have it. That's also good. So, hopefully that sticks. But that all being said, I still feel the stress and I feel the pressure, and I'm living in the best case scenario. And I'm just telling you, I got books on the Trinity. I got books on, the Apostles' Creed and all that. I don't need any of that stuff, man. Right now, I just need to know, hey, we're going to make it till Friday. I need some hope. And if you're sitting over here and when I get on the internet and I see preachers or people who are, church leaders and stuff, and they're going back and forth on theology and what's false doctrine and false this and that and the other, you are grossly out of touch. And honestly, you just create a circle of people who don't know how to function in the world. I mean, I would consider myself a theologian. I'm in the Word every day. But my gosh, if the only thing this thing does is tells me more about this thing and how this thing connects to this thing in this thing, and this thing is only good in the context and in the confines of this thing, then this thing ain't doing what it's supposed to do, and neither are you. Because if this thing don't affect this thing, you done missed it, son. You done missed it. And if you disagree with me, and this is what I tell people when I start preaching theology or prosperity, when I tell people they can prosper, listen, the Word, me, and my bank account say that I'm right. So you can tell me I'm wrong all you want to, but I've got a witness, a great cloud of witnesses. Come on, somebody.
Let me tell you something right now. I love
Let me tell
it.
you something.
Oh, all right. Hey, guys, we could go down this rabbit trail forever. I think we have just laid out the fact that we're going to need to do
We need another.
round
I'm never
2
coming
at
back is
some
what he's
point.
saying.
So
he's trying
We
to
need
say it in a
another.
nice way.
Jason-
We're never
another.
inviting Jason Mayfield back.
Jason is
Let me
going
tell
to
you
come
this.
back
Let me
in
tell you
6
something
months.
right now. Jason
Let me
Mayfield.
tell you something right now. I'll be on here when I feel like it, dadgum. Tell you something right now.
That's good. That's good. All right. Hey, I want to wrap this up. So hey, for those of you that are on the stream, kind of watching, you can see down below Jason's contact information. You can find him at the Jason Mayfield on Instagram. You can check him out at jasonmayfield.com. You can also check him out. I've got a link down in the description below to his YouTube channel, which would be youtube.com/Grace for Life TV.
Hey, did you know that works? But I actually, for whatever reason, /Jason Mayfield also works.
Well, there you go.
Isn't that
youtube.com/Jason
weird?
Mayfield.
I've got both of them.
That is, maybe it's because you're an OG YouTuber, so you had not only the ID, but you've also got the custom URL. That could be. I don't know. Anyways, anything else anywhere else they can connect with you, Jason? Where do you want to send them? What do you want to tell them?
Number one, I love you. And I think you're great. And I appreciate you watching this live stream, letting me get some things off my chest. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on. I really have enjoyed it. I like doing stuff like this. I enjoy these moments because I create content, but I operate so much on the extemporaneous spectrum.
Yeah.
That it's fun for me to do this. So I appreciate y'all having me on. But, if you want to connect with me, the best way to do it is really to do the Tear Up Your Bible reading plan. This is something that I launched at the beginning of the year that I thought a handful of people would do. I thought maybe 100 people would do it. I did not expect to see tens of thousands of people do this plan. And we're hearing from a lot of people that have never been able to stick with a Bible reading plan, that this is the first plan that they've been able to stick with. And I think some of that is the way I've crafted it. Some of that is also that there's a no-nonsense approach to it. Some of you say, I have trouble reading the Bible, and that's not true. If you can read Facebook, you can read the Bible because it's the same mechanism.
Yeah.
It's just words. Now, understanding the Bible may not be the easiest thing to do in the world, but I promise you, if you'll read it 3-4 times, some of it will actually start making sense.
That's
So
true.
that would
That's
be the
true.
best place to connect.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. TearUpYourBible.com. Check them out. All right, that's all we got for you guys. Hey, for me, I want y'all to stay blessed. Enjoy God's best.
Enjoy God's best.
Jason would like you to experience grace for life through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And Jared wants you to taste and see the extravagant love of God.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
And I would just like to officially announce, once and for all, that I am still a better vlogger than Trey Van Camp.
Oh my
correct.
goodness.
Trey Van Camp is dumb. Yes.
Oh my Trey, I'm sorry, man.
We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.